This podcast contains adult language and discusses mature content. It is not intended for children. Please listen at your own discretion, and we hope you enjoy.
Andranati Elvin, Shemlin's dwarf and canary alike.
And welcome everyone to Left of the Fade, the Thedosian podcast for one human, that's me, Rose.
And one elf, that'd be me, Thorn, from opposite sides of the Frostback Mountains.
Delve the deep roads of the Dragon Age franchise to shine light on some topics that we feel haven't been given enough attention.
Please join us as we journey through the dark and the light.
And walk the road less traveled, to the left of the fade. Hello, our beautiful, wonderful Dragon Age enthusiasts. And this is our episode where we finally say goodbye to 2020 because this episode is coming out in 2021.
Woo! Happy New Year, everybody!
Finally. Well, I mean, hopefully 2021's gonna go a little bit better. We have a vaccine coming out. In America, we've got a new president. Someone who's not the dumpster. So
yeah,
hopefully things will start to get a little bit better.
We, however, over here in the UK are dealing with an absolute dumpster fire that is Brexit, because, you know, that'll have, by the time this comes out, that'll have happened.
Aww.
Yay. At the expense of the Scottish fishing industry, so, you know, here we can only hope that Scottish independence happens soon, and that'll be the last I speak on that.
Okay, so, Thorn, what are we talking about this episode?
Well, this episode we have a few things that we have to talk about. Well, more specifically, we have really two. But the second one comes with many different facets. First of all, we're gonna have a short discussion on He Who Shall Not Be Named, and his actions on Dragon Age Day. Of all the days! Oh, and believe me, this elf is doubly disappointed. Doubly disappointed. In fact, if disappointment were an award, I would have won the platinum. Because I am so disappointed in this creature. Seriously. I mean, I don't know why I am disappointed anymore. I shouldn't be surprised. I should be used to him by now, surely. But the second topic we shall be discussing is all of you lot, you wonderful, amazing human beings, Canary, dwarves, and elven, all of our peoples, we love you so much. Yes, the Dragon Age community, and how much we love you all, and how awesome you all are. I mean, seriously, you've shown your face this past year as being some of the most inclusive, welcoming, loving, considerate people on the planet, and for that we thank you so much.
Yeah, this is definitely, and in part of, even though it seems like, why would you talk about this horrible, awful human being in this episode where you're talking about how you love this community, it is because, one, of how the community reacted to it, and two, it was kind of one of the things that led us to wanting to talk about this, is just that there were a few kind of awful things, specifically in the Dragon Age community, that happened in December that was kind of like a blow to a lot of us.
Yep.
And so, with that in mind, and 2020 having been a trash fire in general, and us realizing, our next episode's going to come out on the 1st, we just thought it was a really good time to just talk about exactly, like this is a great community. Like, yeah, there are toxic parts to it, like any community that's out there, any franchise, whatever.
Yeah, every
they
community
all have
has
toxic
its
parts.
elements,
But there's been like more enthusiasm and more love and more acceptance in this community than I have seen in any other community. Maybe that's just because we're biased and we're deep into Dragon Age, but it's really amazing. So the first thing we do want to sort of mention, because it'll segue into the good things, are the bad things that happened that just kind of sucked.
Yeah.
And of course, don't need to. 2020 sucks. That's all that needs to be said about that. Everyone knows. But I think one of the first thing that happens, and it seemed like it happened right like in December. Like, it hasn't even been a month since this stuff happened. I'm just realizing that because we're still in December right now. Wow.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
Casey Hudson and Mark Dara are leaving BioWare.
Yeah,
which is upsetting, you know. And I think there's even a tendency for some people to get depressed and hopeless because they think Dragon Age is doomed. I understand how easy it is to feel that way. I'm personally of the belief that they love Dragon Age so much, they would not leave if they didn't feel secure in its future, that things were not going like, okay, they feel safe to leave. So
yeah, I don't think they would have left if they couldn't have, at least to themselves, guaranteed that they were leaving the franchise in good hands.
Yeah, so I honestly think it is fine, and we don't have anything to worry about, anything
have
big,
faith,
so.
fandom! Dragon Age shall prevail!
and not to mention there are a lot of other good people working on it too. I think it's in good hands. Yeah, but it is sad that they are leaving.
It is. I had sad panda face on all day.
But thank you, Casey, and thank you, Mark, for all your teasing, as infuriating as it was.
And for almost blowing my phone up on more than one occasion with your Twitter rampages. You still do, because I'm still following you because you're awesome.
We really appreciate and admire all the contributions that you have made and all the work that you've put in. And
we do.
You're always going to be a greatly admired member, an MVP of the Dragon Age community.
Yes.
So.
Yep, MVP indeed.
And the second thing and the part that I had to actually write stuff down because I'm afraid that I will go too much into it, is
will this be the when video. Thorn gets triggered?
Is the video on the former voice actor for Cullen that he released on Dragon Age Day of all days, and we will talk more about Dragon Age Day later, but which was probably the most painful part about that is that he released this on a day that Dragon Age fans look forward to every year, and it's a day of celebration and uplifting artists and just the whole community, and it's just full of love and appreciation and everything, and then he just drops this shit video.
Nuclear fucking warhead.
So if you didn't see it, and honestly, you can't see it now, because he took it down. In less than 24 hours, he received so much hate. I watched the video when it was live on YouTube. I'm not kidding you. I scrolled through all those comments, and this is another one of those things that not to say that I like it when people hate on content or whatever. No, that's not. This isn't hate in the sense of coming from a I'll get into it, but people just were not picking up what he was putting down. They just weren't agreeing. They recognized that this video was full of hate and racism and just so full of toxic waste that they were like, this is horrible. And there were so many dislikes and everything. Like, it really shows that the majority of this community is a very loving and accepting community and will not tolerate when people speak hate. So,
surely he can't have had that much of an issue with their comments. I mean, free speech and all.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Or is it really not that free
like,
and it costs?
This is awful, this is terrible, what are you doing? Like, you're really, really digging yourself a bigger grave. But what the video was that Mr. Smellis put out is that
Smeg Phallus, I've told you.
Yep, Smeg Phallus.
Yep.
That he used Cullen's image and speaks of himself in the third person as if he were Cullen.
How fucking dare he?
And using Cullen to defend himself and claiming that Cullen would be on his side. Which, first of all, I do not think he would be.
No,
I don't.
If there's... Right, okay. This is a hill I will die on, okay? Cullen Rutherford is one of the most accepting, considerate, open-minded individuals that has ever been placed in that world. Ever. Heck, Alistair, I think, is quite possibly... Alistair and Zevran and Liliana are quite possibly the only ones who are more accepting. Okay, I will say I left my wee Varric off of that list there as well. But those are genuinely, I would say, the most accepting, open-minded characters in that game. I know Cullen went through the whole character arc of the whole not trusting mages thing, but there were reasons for that. I understand it personally. It's a thing. But I can tell you right now, having played all of the games almost obsessively for years, there is no fucking way on the Maker's green earth that Cullen Rutherford would ever agree with any of the horrendous bullshit that spews forth from the maw that is the mouth of Smeg Phallus, okay? There's no way he wouldn't be the computer game love of my life if that were the case. Because we all know what kind of, and I'm gonna say it because it's what I get called, lefty liberal snowflake mofo I am, okay? Everybody knows that I'm a lefty liberal snowflake social justice warrior, right? So there is no way on the face of the planet that I would be in love with Cullen if that was anywhere even close to the kind of person he was. Not a chance. I done made some mistakes, but I think I know Cullen well enough,
Yeah.
Sorry, that was my... Welcome to my TED Talk.
It's fine. Go off. No,
don't give me permission to go off, because that would take up the entire podcast, okay? And we would probably get banned from YouTube for the language.
But we can't, and like I said, there was so many hate comments and just so much anger towards that video that he took it down within 24 hours. So you can't go and watch it anymore. I believe he listed it as private, so basically he's only showing it to his friends. Mm-hmm. But it's like there are people out there who saved it before it got taken down because we knew this would happen. So you can't go find it on YouTube, but I bet if you look on Twitter, you'll find something. I'm not gonna say who has it because I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but just look, it's there. I got it from someone who had linked it for people to access. And so I unfortunately watched it again so I could reference it, so I could accurately talk about what's in it. But basically, as I said, this douchebag is pretending to be Cullen, is acting like Cullen is real, and as Cullen goes on about how people bully men, he says hashtag men too, he cries not all men, he's on the same men in his shit he's always on, denies being a transphobe, he makes Cullen say all lives matter, uses footage from riots and violent protests from summer 2020 without any context as to why that's happening, talks against cancellation, etc. All of that crap that goes along with that. He then attacks Mark Dara, BioWare, and the Dragon Age community, actually referring to them as a mob, and fans.
Mob hit anyone?
for the way they talk to him on Twitter, all while using Cullen's image and music from Dragon Age Inquisition and claiming he's for free speech and human rights. By the way, he absolutely can get in trouble for using Cullen's image and the music from Dragon Age Inquisition while also trying to put on his own beliefs and politics onto those characters. So yes, absolutely can get in trouble.
Can anyone say copyright strike?
Yeah. Someone had actually asked Mark, like, can he get in trouble? He's like, and he said something along the lines of, LOL, yes, absolutely. So,
I don't be getting comfy there.
So, yeah, so, and also, in the video, he seemed to sort of imply that he was still working on Dragon Age. I don't think that's the case. If you were even considered before, I don't think that's the case anymore at all. I do not think he's going to be on it.
Yeah. I would say it breaks my heart, but he already broke my heart. That part's done. But it infuriates me. In fact, no, infuriates isn't quite the right word. Infuriates implies that, I can continue to get frustrated with this piece of walking garbage. No, it enrages me that he thinks he has any fucking right whatsoever to dare bother putting his disgusting words in the mouth of that maker-given Templar. Right? I'm showing my hand here. I am 110%, everybody already knows this, in love with Cullen, okay? How dare he? How dare he put his disgusting words in his mouth? It's like, I thought he had gone low before, but this is even below snake belly level, right? This is fucking Satan's bootprint level of low, right? He's disgusting. How dare he? Who the fuck does he think he is? Man, seriously, when I first heard about this 40-minute meninist right-wing rant of utter fucking bile, I genuinely wanted to do horrible things, but I'm not a violent person. But he made me feel violent for the first time in a long time. I am not that kind of person. But how fucking dare he take something that I love so much, and I'm sure hundreds of thousands of other people do, and twist it in such a manner to fit his own agenda on a day which means so much to us.
Yep.
How dare he? Seriously. Like, if on a very, very slight off chance you are listening to this, Smeg Phallus, understand this now. I was sure I'd told you before, pal, but you're no longer fucking welcome in this fandom. Do you understand me? Do you get what I am saying? You are not welcome. Stay away from us. Because you're all for free speech, but not if it's aimed at you.
That was very well said.
God, I hate him. I don't hate people, right? I really don't. I am not the kind of person who actually goes out of my way to hold that much anger and resentment towards somebody that I would hate them, right? But I hate him. I hate him for tarnishing something which means the fucking world to me. I refuse to allow him to tarnish it further by letting him away with this shit.
Yeah. And don't worry, it was made very, very clear to him that he is not welcome here. Like, all of the people that came after him and were like, oh, this is awful, you're a terrible person, like, all of the stuff that was said, it was... And this is a very, very loving community, like I said. Loving to the point they're not going to tolerate it when, like, one of their own, someone who has voiced a beloved character attacks people that includes people who are involved in this community. Like, we're not going to tolerate some guy who worked for them, I should say.
Yeah, past tense.
Yeah. And is gonna, like, as much as we love Dragon Age, like, people are not gonna stand for it. No. Like, you don't come after us. You're coming after people, and you're coming after groups of people that a lot of people in the Dragon Age community identify with and are a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And nope. And I think that's very uplifting. That Dragon Age has taught us to protect people, to protect the helpless, to protect those who struggle to fight for themselves, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yep, and I'm so proud of the fandom, I really am. Mm-hmm. I am so proud of them for the way that they've been over this. I know I have essentially, because of the things that he said and because of who I am, I have had to pull myself away from ever paying any attention to the things that come out of him. Right? Mm-hmm. I've had to. I'm not going to go into it in any detail. You know, mm-hmm. Rose, you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
But I'll go as far as to say I'm genderqueer and leave it at that. And hearing stuff like that come from somebody who, up until this year, having not fully bought into his, Twitter and anything, following him with any great, vehemence. Somebody who I had respected up until this year, talking about people in a community I personally belong to, in the way he does, and talking about being so openly racist as well, when I care so deeply about people who are black or who are people of colour. It's like having somebody stick a dagger between my ribs. It's horrible. It's horrible. And nobody who is part of the Dragon Age community and is part of those communities should ever have to put up with it.
Yep.
It's just unacceptable.
He also used the video to try and, it was almost like an advertisement. Like, he was making Cullen advertise his podcast. It was like, hey, go have a listen. Which was like, okay, you're also using a different franchise to try and, market your own stuff that's unrelated. And then also, I did not get this. If someone could explain this to me, I would appreciate it. But in the middle of all of the footage that he used from the riots and the protests, he also had footage of, from NASA, of, space shuttle launches and stuff, and I didn't get that. I don't know what that has to do with
somebody
any
make
of
it
this.
I mean, I'm already on the level of somebody make any of this makes fucking sense, right? But that what? What?
I don't know what that has to do with anything.
I was gonna say from the sublime to the ridiculous, but that would be implying that his first thoughts and comments were in any way, shape, or form fucking sublime.
This is the least problematic part of the video. I mean,
yeah.
They're launching a rocket. That's cool.
Woo, for space launches. Yay!
I mean,
that's woo.
What does that have to do with it?
One part of the 40-minute rant that I can actually agree with.
Maybe I'm missing something there, I don't know, but it was like in the middle of all that footage, like you'd have all of this violent stuff and people beating other people up, and then suddenly a rocket going into space. Okay.
Oh, man.
Okay.
It's tempting to look up the Rocket Man lyrics and see whether or not there's something in that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if someone can point out what I would appreciate it, because I don't get it, but yeah, so...
Well, I will tell you something. Here in Scotland, when we want to tell somebody to bugger off, we've got a lovely phrase. Bolt your rocket!
Oh,
so,
okay.
you know...
I guess that works.
So, you know, that's entirely what I'd be inclined to say to him. Bolt your rocket, mate. Nobody wants you.
Okay, so there's that.
Now that we've gotten that horridness out of the way.
So we mentioned that he dropped this video on Dragon Age Day of all days. And I want to, like, sort of go into that because, that is what I would describe as probably one of the greatest examples of that shows just how great this community is.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I didn't even see the video myself on that day. I will by the time this goes out, I will have seen the video.
Okay.
In its entirety. But, I am quite easily triggered by the shit that comes out of his mouth, so I may have taken about 2 days to watch it. But yeah, I will have watched it by then. Continue, sorry. I shouldn't have interrupted you.
Yeah, Dragon Age Day is on, so it started out as an unofficial holiday. In fact, I think the Twitter is still called unofficial, but I think it's basically official at this point. Like the BioWare has adopted it and basically claimed it as official. But it started out as a group of Dragon Age fans. I think some of them are well-known content creators in the community. A couple of them may not have been well-known, but they jumped on helping organize it. And it's a day that celebrates the game, the community, the artists, the content creators, basically just anyone who appreciates it in any way, streamers, YouTubers, what have you, and really helps to not only sort of lift them up and help them get like a little more exposure, but there are also people who donate stuff and like gifts or whatnot. Like BioWare has even donated their own stuff. Some voice actors have donated autographs and all that. For when you donate a certain amount of charity, you can claim one of those prizes. And every year, I think it's a different charity. This year, the money went to the NAACP. Mm-hmm. And I think it was for legal funds or something like that. And it's just really great. It helps to, like you get it. It's a celebration. And it's for a great cause. And it's just so beautiful that this was started by fans.
Yep.
Like, and it got so much attention that BioWare was even like, yeah, we're gonna, like, join this. Like, this is awesome. You know, and it helps to lift up other people. And it's just so loving.
Like, sorry to interrupt again, but did they
not
do the same thing for Mass Effect as well?
Well, that's why they started
not like a Mass Effect Day as well?
Yeah, there's a Mass Effect Day, and there was a Mass Effect Day, but no Dragon Age Day, and that's why they started a Dragon Age Day.
See, I'm not as into Mass Effect as
no, I'm not
else
either, but I do appreciate that they have stuff like that. Like, it's really great. I'm sure there are others, but I don't really know of any other, like, gaming community that has something like that. Mm-hmm. And there was quite a bit of, like, they met their goal this year, and it's not even just, like, it's, like, I would say, it's and it went through, like, all weekend, like, it wasn't just the one day, like, it went through all the weekend, it was, like, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And, I don't know, I just think it is the greatest display of love for a community, for a game, for like the whole sort of environment that a game created.
Yeah.
And I just love that. So for this asshole to come and drop a video in the middle of that when it's a day of celebration was really, really low.
Disrespectful
Really
as fuck.
Yep, very disrespectful.
Seriously disrespectful. But then again, that's him all over. He's just disrespectful. I don't think he would know what respect was if it came up and bit him on the scrotum, to be, perfectly blunt.
Yeah.
Makes me sick.
But yeah, so
sorry.
It's fine. No, it's just, I don't know. I think it's just a beautiful day.
Yeah, it is, and it's something that I've personally sort of reveled in for years. It's not something I've ever fully taken part in until this year when we did the episode that was specifically for Dragon Age Day.
Well, we dropped it on Dragon Age Day.
Yeah, it wasn't Dragon Age Day.
We weren't linked to it. Like, it's...
Thingy,
yeah. I donated some money. I didn't tell you this, Thorn, but the name that I put was Left of the Fade for the donation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice, thank you. I mean, I say thank you. It's an us thing, but yeah. That's awesome. You should have told me, woman.
So yeah, I donated some money, but it's like the episode wasn't linked at all. Maybe if we had this going a little bit earlier, we had a little more time, we could have done something about it, but maybe next year we'll get involved,
Oh, absolutely. Well, what is by the time this comes out? This year.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
It will be this year.
This year. Time traveling. It's difficult, isn't it? It's hard when you time travel.
So
and people wonder why I find it difficult to keep the days straight.
And one of the things that we talked about that Dragon Age Day celebrates is there's a lot of other things, but I mentioned art. And holy crap, the art that people have come up with, like...
Oh, absolutely.
Is beautiful.
I've seen some
gorgeous.
Properly stunning stuff.
Like, any expression of art for something that you love is gorgeous. Like, no matter how long you've been at it, like, no matter how much you're, like, even if you're, like, okay, anything that says this is this character or whatever is gorgeous. I'm like, oh, you are showing your love for something so much that you're willing to draw it. You're willing to take time out of your day and make art that is dedicated to this. And it's, there's so much wonderful art out there.
Yeah, do you know what? There is only one, I have only one problem with Dragon Age art, and that is, I can't fucking draw. And that's genuinely my only problem. That's
you had me in the first half, not gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, that was the point. It was a hook. I can't fucking draw, and so the jealousy that runs through me when these people post these absolutely stunning pieces of fan art. I want to be able to create stuff like this so badly that I become enraged with jealousy. I'm like, I hate you. I don't hate you. I absolutely love you. You're all amazing and you make the community a better place to be. But, it would just be nice if I could personally draw my own OC in bed with Colin. I'm just saying, I really wish that I could do that. And that would make me very happy. And the fact that I can't makes me quite depressed. I'm so depressed now.
I love how you just threw in that in bed with Colin part. Like...
Well,
Oh, yeah, no, I admit that is a problem, is that it tends to make one jealous when you see this beautiful art and you're like, I can't draw.
Yep. I mean,
yep. I also have the jellies.
Yeah. Like, that's one of the several places where you and I can agree. It sucks. I wish I could draw more than a cartoon dog. Seriously, I really do. But that's it. Yeah. At some point I will draw that cartoon dog and you can show it in one of the videos on YouTube.
I can't even draw a dog.
Oh, this thing. I learned how to draw this thing in school and it's as far as I got. Like,
I surprisingly can draw an elephant. I don't know where I learned to draw an elephant. I apparently I can draw an elephant. I don't know where I picked that up, but
you know, the best of it is my dad is really artistic. He's a great photographer, and he's really quite good at painting and stuff like that. But me, I have no ability whatsoever. I got most of my artistic ability from my mum, which means that I can write really well, because yay for English, but I can't draw to save my life, unfortunately.
My expression of art for Dragon Age comes in the form of fan fiction and The Sims, so...
Yeah, that's,
I guess this is a form of art, this podcast.
I just write fanfiction. Yeah, I suppose it is. At some point I'll have to actually publish some of my fanfiction once I actually get it done.
I'm at 400 pages and it's not done yet.
Do you remember the fanfic that I wrote with us in it?
Yeah!
Yeah, I'm gonna have to finish that, because, in fact, I have to really properly get started with it, because it was me, you, Gigi, and Elle, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure they won't mind us mentioning by those names, because, you know, they're handles. They're not their names.
So yeah, I mean, it's all of the art, like, it's all beautiful, it's all wonderful, like, I love it. I want to see more of it.
I have seen some very delicious pictures of, like, Cullen and Fenris and Devon and Alistair, and one for me and Gigi Anders. And just a little shout out there for El Solis. Like, I've seen some seriously delicious fan art of those peeps. It's a right. It's a shame we don't see more of the girls, or maybe I've just missed it, I don't know. Because people send me, like, I have friends who send me Cullen fan art.
Well,
just to make me
they
drool.
know how much you like Cullen. Now, if you were as much on your shit about, like, Isabella or Leiliana or whatever as you are with Cullen, I'm fairly certain they would find stuff and send it to you, because trust me, I have seen some stuff.
Right.
I have seen stuff. I'm not even looking for that. Like, and I just happened to find it. And I'm like, okay.
Well, this is a complete aside, but we're keeping this in because I want to put out a rallying call to the Left of the Fade Discord server. Right, guys? Gigi and Elle specifically Gigi, because I know you're more likely to do this. Right? I lay this at your feet, Ladle. Right? Find me some Varric fan art and some of Isabella.
Oh, I'm sure
I will be very happy.
Oh, it's out there.
Because I haven't seen anywhere near enough of my hairy dwarf.
It is out there. I will say this, though. It is very, very hard to find. Like,
I bet it is.
There is not that. No. The Varric art is very easy to find. I'm saying it is difficult to find Blackwall art that's of a certain nature. There are a couple, but there's not that many. I think just in general, because Blackwall is not, like, a romance that's talked about that often. People just don't, and I love him, I adore him. But there's not that much out there, and I want to see more. Like, a lot. I did not mean that as lewdly as it sounded. I meant to say I want to see more art. But I'm totally okay if I really did sound see very more as well.
It really did sound very lewd indeed.
I didn't mean that lewdly, but I guess now I also do. Like, it's, there's also not that many, like, fan fiction that's, like, about him. Like, there's some.
Yeah.
Once again, I want more. Give me more. Like all of your, I will sing your praises. I will.
Sorry, that's my phone being a weirdo. I don't even know what my phone was doing there right now, but for some reason it's being an ass. Apple jelly eyes.
So yes, like we sing the praises of all the artists out there, and how you just have this magical ability. It's beautiful too, but also ability to make art appear on the page, because I do not have that ability.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
essentially, like what you're saying about the like Blackwall fan art and fan fiction and stuff is much like what you asked about in your DA4 wish list about Fenris when you said, "Give me all the sex steaminess." So you're just a dirty girl.
I forgot. Did I? Oh! Did you see that? By the way, there's gonna be a new Fenris comic. Just saying, there's a new one. They're coming out with a new one.
And all of Rosie's dreams came true all at once.
Yeah. It's gonna be a new one. I put the link in the Discord, but I don't know if you saw it. It was a while ago. So yeah. There's a new one coming out, and I'm super excited. Anyway.
Happy Rose.
Y'all
can hear how happy she is, right? You all can hear how happy she is, right?
I keep looking over to my husband, expecting to see him shaking his head, but he's really engrossed in his... Oh, now he is. Now that he heard me, he's shaking his head.
Yep. My interwebs brother-in-law has to deal with all of this all of the time, ladles and jelly spoons. So let's if we have comments, if you're on YouTube, leave an F in the comments for my interwebs brother-in-law.
Leave an F for my husband.
Yes, poor man.
He just gave me a look.
Oh.
Whose computer you're recording your wonderful podcast on?
You love us, dude. And I know you can't hear me, but you can tell
you're my
later.
favorite romance, honey.
Oh well. Oh, you two are adorable.
So yeah, there's the art, also just the general content, whether it be YouTube content, podcast. Maybe that's a little humble brag there. No, I mean, for real, if it wasn't for just the general YouTube content, not just YouTube, but like any sort of content out there, we would not be friends. Straight up.
This is true.
Yes. There are so many great and I think one of the best parts about all of this, between art and content and stuff, is just how much BioWare and the developers of Dragon Age love them and praise them, and they're totally okay with fan art being sold. Even there's not a lot of developers that would be okay with that.
Yeah, when I was talking earlier about Mark and the Twitter blow-ups, in terms of the blowing up of my phone from the Twitter tirades, 99% of that was fan art being shared. I thought that was amazing. I love that. How many people in high up in corporations like that, in game developers like that, would do that? I can think of only one other. I can genuinely think of only one other franchise at the moment which is as involved with the fans as BioWare has been when it comes to Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and that's The Sims.
That's true too.
And how they've recently, in the most recent expansion pack, they actually got Simmers from YouTube to give input into they even had them build houses for the new world, So yep. It's very rare that game developers will actually have that kind of relationship with their community. So for BioWare to do that with us is just that little bit more special, in my opinion.
And they even BioWare is even part of a site, I think it's called For Fans by Fans or something like that, where they partner with fans to sell their art, whether it be on shirts or mugs or even just no, I have one in my bedroom. It's
nice.
It's art of a Fenris meeting a baby wolf, and I think it's called Knowing Me or something like that. I'm gonna search for it and put the title and the artist in the description because it's absolutely beautiful. I loved it. I saw it before, but then when I saw that it was available as art on that site, I was instantly I'm I want it. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
I cannot express how much I love all of the art that this community has put out.
Yeah.
even the, like, more serious and, like, I would say, like, emotive stuff, like, from that, even to, like, the stuff that's a little more silly, to the stuff that's, like, more sweet and cute, like, all the way from, like, the stuff that's super innocent, straight up to the not safe for work stuff. Like, yep. all of it is great, and I love every single one of them. Like,
the community is just amazing.
Oh, like, it's... And this, honestly, was probably the episode I was the most excited about, just because this community is so, so great. And, you know, going back to, like, how we said, like, we would not be friends if it weren't for the content out here. We mentioned before that we became friends because we were talking on Jackdaw's server. And
yeah, you and I became friends because of Jackdaw, but it was our shared the depth of our love for this fandom and for the community and for the games themselves that bonded us, I think.
But that was how we met, because we were both in the same server of, you know, someone who makes great content for Dragon
Oh,
Age.
yeah, absolutely.
And is well recognized by the community and the developers and BioWare and stuff. And
can I just say, his relationship with Saria is just adorable. Those two are so cute! Seriously.
It is. It's very adorable. And that's the other thing, if he will allow to talk about him for a minute, is that he got married to someone from the Dragon Age community, because of the content he was able to put out. Like,
I mean, this fandom literally creates relationships out of nowhere.
Exactly.
I've met some of the best people I have ever known because of the Dragon Age community, because of the franchise. It's given me some of the best friends that I could ever have wished for, and genuinely, Rose, none above you. It's like, seriously, I know I gush about you being my sister and all the time, but I really genuinely do see you as a member of my family, and I can thank Dragon Age and BioWare for that.
I'm legitimately gonna cry.
Oh no, don't cry! Don't cry!
No,
Mine don't mean to make you cry. Mine just where to live. Let's remember, I'm the sarky smart arse pervy elf. Okay? Let's not pretend that I'm all mushy, okay?
Oh,
Stabbing.
And, like, even when we talk about, to bring up another piece of content that I've mentioned before, Enchantment, a Let's Play Dragon Age podcast. They're great. Like, I have made, not only are they just beautiful and wonderful in such a wholesome, like, community and stuff and all that, I have made a couple of friends whom I've played the Dragon Age tabletop game with a couple of times, and they're both wonderful, lovely ladies. Like, we're checking in on each other, just seeing how things, like, I have made so many friends across so many different forms of content in this community alone. Like, and then, like, this past summer, the friend that we talk about, several times, Gigi, she actually visited me. I was able to meet her in person. Now, there were a lot of,
love you, Gigi.
There were a lot of steps that we had to take because it is in the middle of the pandemic, and, like, there was, like, some quarantine happening in order for it to happen at all, but, like, we were able to meet in person.
That's one of the things that we've talked about many times, and I'm looking forward to the end of the pandemic and everything going back to at least some semblance of normal, so that I can start to consider saving up so that I can visit you or Gigi or any of the number of other people that I've met because of this amazing community. Genuinely, I cannot overstate how amazing it is. And I say amazing a lot right now, but I can't help it. I can't overstate how awesome and amazing, wonderful and talented and just... I'm getting involved, I am involved with, and I'm sure I'm not going to mention the name of the person, who I also met in Jackpaw's Discord server, actually. I'm going to be doing voice acting work for someone on their Dragon Age related project. And that is only an opportunity that I was able to get because of this community. It's so talented and smart and fun to be part of, and inclusive and open-minded, and genuinely, I know that every fandom has their toxic part, right? But to me, the toxic part of the Dragon Age fandom is so small as to be nigh on insignificant, because it's overshadowed massively by the amount of sheer talent and welcomeness that you get from 99% of us.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely something I don't think I've ever seen in any other community before, and it's like and just in general, it's we're gonna address this, I think, in later episodes. Like, there are so many. I would say Dragon Age is probably one of the most progressive games I've ever seen, in the sense of, like, the messages that it has. Mm-hmm. And, like, representation and all that, It was the first sort of, like, game or whatever, like, any sort of, like, interactive content or whatever that had a trans character in it. Mm-hmm. And wasn't treated like the butt of some joke. Like, it was just, this is who this person is. Like, yeah. And it was just accepted, And mm-hmm. Sure, if you're playing, as the Inquisitor, you can choose to be a dick. But, mm-hmm. Once again, the game is all about choices. And you can choose to be a dick and say something about it. Or you can, and even if you do, I think people will come up and defend Krem and be like, yeah. No, this is just who he is. Like... And it's not, being trans is a part of his character, but it's not like there's so much more to him. Like, there's so much more to him. He is, just a friend of Bull, like, basically, yeah. Like, Bull's right-hand man or whatever. Yeah. Like, and is just, in general, like, a really kind and compassionate person, and just really values the family that he has found within the Chargers. Like, mm-hmm.
Not to mention the fact that he's warrior. Ridiculously clever, and, well, as you say, a great warrior. But on top of that, he's ridiculously clever. He's a great strategist. You don't get to see as much, like, I've mentioned this in previous episodes, you don't get to see that as much as I would like to, personally, because I really think Krem has got a fantastic strategic mind that I think could have been put to much better use in Inquisition. I think that was something that they definitely played on a bit, but not as much as I would have liked them to. Mm-hmm. Not that we're here to criticise the games today, we're all about the fandom. Thorns,
and he is fantastic at chair standing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The best chair stander in all of Thedas, without a shadow of a doubt. That glitch is hilarious, though. I mean,
I don't want that glitch to be fixed.
No, me either. Like, never ever fix that glitch. It's the best thing.
I think I saw a headcanon that is actually really cute, and I want to adopt it, that the reason why he stands on the chair is because he wants to get a better look at Mirrodin.
That's adorable.
That's adorable, and I love it.
Oh, Prometheus, a classic, you beautiful, beautiful boy, you. Oh, I love him. I do. I like Loki.
I do.
Love
I
Krem.
do. I love Krem. I really want him to be a romance in the next game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would have difficulty choosing between him and Varric, though. Genuinely.
Just do both. Just do one first and then do the other.
Yeah. Well, I think we all know the very first romance I'll be going with. If Varric is an option, it will be right in there with Mr. Tethras. Oh, thank you very much, because I've been waiting since the second game for that. Like, I have wanted that almost as long as I wanted to romance Cullen. It's been some time. So, I think my wait is, I think my reward is far overdue. BioWare also give me my game.
There you go. There it is.
Yay!
Every episode.
I did say so, didn't I? I mean, I know it's become a bit of a meme now, but it's really a thing.
That was the smoothest transition into that I've heard yet.
Yeah, I mean, last episode I was a bit early on the delivery, but this time I thought I did it. Chef's kiss, perfect. So can't complain.
But I think that just sort of shows, like, just Dragon Age having, like, all of these issues that they talk about, like, and especially the relevance to today's society, and having groups of people that you unfortunately don't see that often in, like, video games or a lot of other media. It helps to create this safe space, because we're like, oh, they have these kind of characters in it, you know? And I think I've said it before, Iron Bull, I think, is the very first depiction of what healthy BDSM looks like that I ever saw.
Yes! Because up until that point, I mean, not just taking into consideration computer games, if we look at general media, up until that point, we've only really had things that genuinely didn't really put BDSM across in a particularly positive light. I mean, when you take into consideration the things that are out there in modern media right now that have to do with BDSM, you've got 50 Shades of Shit, which frankly is just such a reach, it's unbelievable. That is one of the most unhealthy representations you can possibly get of BDSM in popular media. So to have someone like Iron Bull represent the community in a computer game where you can actively interact with them yourself and experience somewhat more of what a real, you know, healthy BDSM relationship should be like, I think that really gives inclusion to, well, okay, you know, gonna come out with it right now, those of us in the community we really appreciate that. It's finally some inclusion that doesn't make us all look like monsters, frankly.
Like, the fact that he even says, now I haven't actually done Iron Bull's romance, but I know about it and I've seen clips and everything. I haven't done it just because it's not my thing. Like, that's just not, you know, it's just not my cup of tea, you know, but I really appreciate that it's there for the people who want that. And it's like, when I was watching stuff about it, and, you know, he mentioned stuff like a safe word, which I'm like, that's, wow, I've never seen that anywhere in a video game, or even represented appropriately, even, like, in movies or media. And then he was like, I only do this if you want to. Like, holy crap. Like, this is the kind of stuff that has helped. These messages in here have helped to make this such a safe space, and for people to come to feel like they are accepted, and that this community is gonna, you know, treat them as they should be treated, and feel like they can be exactly who they are without facing hate. And it's that kind of stuff that has helped make some beautiful relationships, create some beautiful bonds, and just create, like, this healthy community where we're all accepting and loving of one another.
I think inclusion in games is something that's really important. And I think that up until this point, up until certainly the past few years, it's something that hasn't really been handled in a particularly delicate or, you know, worthwhile manner by a lot of game developers. Let's start off with The Sims. It's a game which has, on the whole, been a massively inclusive franchise, given the fact that it introduced transgender in, like, I think it was Sims 3, where you could, I'm not entirely sure because I'm not 100% up on that fandom.
I didn't think it was until, I might be wrong, but I didn't think it was until Sims 4 that they included options for transgender Sims.
It could have been Sims 4. I could have been wrong, but they were certainly one of the first to do it, considering Sims 4 came out, 7 years ago now?
2014?
I think so. I can't remember
It was
exactly.
either 13 or 14, I think.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love to build in The Sims, but I'm not...
It was probably about...
Yeah,
I spend more time creating Sims and building the houses than I do actually playing the game.
Whereas I build houses more than play the game, or Well, unless it's on the PC, but we won't talk about that because that's full of adult mods. So yeah, this year, however, look at Cyberpunk 2077. Although I was watching a video by another one of my favourite YouTube creators, Jesse Gender, the other day, and they were saying that this whole thing with gender selection in Cyberpunk 2077, you can choose your body type. You can either go with a feminine or a masculine body type. You can then, on top of that, choose your genitalia, whether you have one or the other. And then you can also choose your voice presentation. Again, feminine or masculine.
Mm-hmm.
But that did sort of bring up some issues in that there are a couple of romances where they will only romance you if you have a certain voice type.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And I mean, I'm not saying that it's a difficult one, because, I mean, I don't really know how my voice comes across sounding myself. I mean, I think I sound quite masculine a lot of the time, and yet other people will tell me I sound quite feminine a lot. I'm like, I don't know, it's either or for me, it doesn't bother me. But, I know that for some people, and I don't understand it myself, because as somebody who is literally sapiosexual, it doesn't bother me what's anywhere as long as your brain's beautiful, you know? I'm not somebody who the package has ever been super important for, so, and that includes what it sounds like. You know, it's not something that's ever really bothered me one way or another. So I couldn't understand somebody being turned off with somebody just because of what their voice sounds like. But and I don't mean that by what their voice actually sounds like, because I know there's some annoying voices out there. I know there are some annoying
there
voices out there.
There are also some quite sexy voices out there, too.
Yes, Fenris voice actor, anyone? Just throwing that out there, because, I mean, even as somebody who thinks that, God's forbid I admit this, Cullen's voice is sexy as hell, right? And I cringe saying that, which is horrible. I shouldn't fucking have to. Fuck you, Smeg Phallus. But I would be deaf if I didn't notice how sexy Fenris's voice is. Hot, like, specifically Fenris's voice, like, nom 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 nom. Seriously. So, yeah, I get it. But I genuinely don't understand ever being put off someone because their voice is either masculine or feminine. I don't understand that.
Well, and I think the thing about, like, yeah, Cyberpunk has a lot of problematic issues, like a lot, but I also feel kind of a little bad for saying that, because the developers, they did put a lot of work into it and were really like under like in a toxic environment and stuff, and like there was a lot of pressure and all that. And I feel really bad, especially with it being pulled from shelves now. Like all of that work is going to, you know, it's complicated because it's I have not played it. It sounds like there were a lot of issues with it, but I also feel bad because I know a lot of work went into it, and a lot of those people who worked on it, it's not their fault that it turned out bad.
There was a lot of rushing towards the end and everything. Like, the entire process is essentially a last-minute process. Everything is jam it in as quick as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not the fault of the people who are actually working on it. That's the fault of the fucking companies that make them rush.
Mm-hmm.
Any rushed job is going to have issues, and a day one patch is not going to cover it.
Yeah.
That's something that I've always found with computer game developers, is that while I understand the need for a day one patch, especially if you have hard disk copies of the games that you've obviously had to put together and ship out ahead of time before you would have preferred to, so I can kind of understand the need for a day one patch, but at the same time, it shouldn't have required to have been patched that much.
Mm-hmm.
No game on day one should require to be patched that much. And to go back to patches, to go back to Sims 4, It took 6 years for them to introduce a colour wheel for skin tones. That was, frankly, fucking unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've actually called it out publicly, right?
Yeah.
I agree with it, and I've said so in comments on various different things here and there. This is the first time I've actually used my own voice to call it out. That, frankly, was fucking abominable. That is not... That should never have been the case. 6 years. It's not something I'm going to rant on and on about, because this is a Dragon Age podcast, not a Sims 4 podcast. But it's... Since we're talking about small bugbears about certain things about games, that is something that really did bug me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's... There should never have been that long a wait, especially not in the current climate. The Sims should have been the first ones to go, oops, our bad, and fix it like that, as quick as possible, within the first year of the game's release. They had done it in previous games, I know that for a fact. There is no reason why they couldn't have implemented it in 4 a lot sooner.
Yeah, and I'm calling out my white privilege here on this. I did not realize that there was a problem with that until very recently, and I feel really bad for not noticing that that was a problem, but I mean, that's because I'm white, and I had many options for Sims to represent someone like me in The Sims, so that's on me, and I should have recognized that earlier, but yeah, so, but I mean, that's just, you know, that's just some of the examples that there's very few, like, forms of media, and it's getting better, thankfully. It is getting better, finally. But there's very few forms of media that have all of these representations. And I almost feel like Dragon Age might have been among the first, because if you get back to 2009, Origins came out, and when I first sat down to play that, I did not play it in 2009. I played it in, I think, like 2016. But I sat down to play it, and I'm like, how old is this game? 2009? And you can have gay romances in this game from 2009? Like, I was impressed. Like, I did not... First of all, I knew that was something you could do in, like, dating sims and stuff. But as far as, like, a, you know, like a AAA title or whatever, like, games like that, I did not realize that was something that existed. And and now part of that might be because I wasn't as knowledgeable about video games as I am now, but like I was impressed. I was like, this is so cool, this is so awesome. And and then they just like, you know, and then they just got better, you know. Inquisition, you have multiple people that you know, you have people you can only that will you know, you have Dorian, who you can only date if you are a guy. You know, you have people who like Dorian. Show they have specific orientations.
Yep, it's Sarah, who you can only date if you're a female.
Yep. And like, you know,
preferably female Canary.
in Dragon Age 2, you know, basically everyone except Sebastian was bisexual, and now I realize that they were trying to like give you as many options as possible, no matter who you were. And I understand that they were trying. They were really trying. It's not like, you know, having people who are gay, people who are straight, people who are bisexual, pansexual, like whatever, is more realistically representative, you know, when you have multiple people of different orientations, you know. And so I just thought that was great in Inquisition. So so like that was kind of a rant just to go on like how BioWare has really created a safe space with this community. And I think a lot of this stands for Mass Effect as well. It's just that Dragon Age is kind of where we veer into. I do like Mass Effect, but like I would say before Dragon Age, I had heard about Mass Effect, and that seemed to be more of the game like I heard like gamers talk about. I hadn't really heard of Dragon Age. So it's And it seems to me like Dragon Age might have more of an enthusiastic community. I could be wrong because I'm not in the Mass Effect community, so I have absolutely no idea. It's just from what I have seen, it seems to be that way. So,
see, I would have said that the Dragon Age community was more of a, shall we say, rabid fandom than the Mass Effect one. You know, but then again, that's just because I am such a deep part of the Dragon Age fandom personally. Because I'm so deep in it myself, I don't think, because I'm not, I have played a couple of the Mass Effect games, and I do enjoy them to a certain extent, but while I am a sci-fi fan, for some reason they just don't grab me like Dragon Age does, you know?
Well, I can tell you my thirst for certain characters in Dragon Age is bigger than it is in Mass Effect.
Yeah.
I mean...
Same here.
Garrus's voice is delectable, but beyond that...
well, if we want to talk about characters we're in love with from Mass Effect, I was in love with Joker, so my disappointment,
that's true,
you have no idea. No idea.
Yeah.
Like, I
was secretly hoping Joker would be a romance, but...
So besotted with Joker.
You just get him with a robot.
And it's heartbreaking. I'm like, why can I not? But... That's not fair. He's so amazing. I'm in love with him. Why can't you give me Joker? It's not fair.
Yeah.
They did me a dirty, so, you know, I'm not sure I can be friends with Mass Effect anymore. But it's okay, because I have Dragon Age, and Dragon Age is my bestie. So.
I love this community so much. Like,
so do I. I mean,
there's so many great people in it.
There are. It gives us so much. I mean, it has, like we've said over the space of the last however long we've been here. I have no idea how time disappears when I'm doing this podcast, but it's created friendships. It's created families, like with Jackdaw and Saria. It's a place that is so full of love. God, I sound like Darius Dinesh right now. It's a place that is so full of love. There's so much love in this room. It's not a reference to anybody that isn't about my age and from over here and that's seen Pop Idol will understand.
Yeah, I didn't understand it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'll show you like a clip later on at some point on Discord or something. But it is a community that is so full of love and, you know, like I've said before, talent and friendship and understanding, and it's a community. It's a big ass family. You know, it does feel like that sometimes. That we're just a big old extended family.
Mm-hmm.
Especially you. But yeah, this has essentially been an ode to Dragon Age fandom and to Dragon Age itself, hasn't it?
I think, you know, this is definitely... It was the episode I was the most excited about, I think.
Yeah.
Just because I love... how many times can we use the word love? But I mean, like,
I don't know.
True. I just love this franchise, this community, like, so much. And it's the whole reason why we're doing this podcast, you know?
Yeah.
And there are so many great things about it, and, like, it's...
The people are amazing, the fan art's amazing, the music that gets made is amazing, the YouTube videos are amazing, the fan fiction is amazing. Just it's created, like I say, a community, but it's not a passive community. It's a really active and engaged community, which can be quite hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
And it's done so passionately and so beautifully that, you know, it's hard not to look on with admiration, even if you can barely do diddly squat.
And just how, like, just involved, we've said it before, but, like, the developers are involved with the community and the people in it. Like, oh man, like, and there definitely feels to be like some sort of connection between everyone, and it's nothing I've ever seen before anywhere else.
Aye.
And even to the point, I have to mention this because I haven't mentioned it, even to the point where they have made their way, a couple of people within the community have made their way into a Netflix Christmas film. The film is terrible, but the movie that I'm talking about is Merry Christmas, and there are two people, one dressed as Isabel and the other dressed as Fenris, that you can see walking in the hotel in the beginning.
Yeah, I saw that screenshot.
I've only seen the first 2 minutes of that movie, but it's a glorious 2 minutes. And I want...
we need more representation in the movie.
There we go. Like, I just wonder, anyone else who isn't, like, into Dragon Age has no idea what they were thinking. Like, who are they? Who is that? Oh, that brings me so much joy. And, like, I would almost say, I would not have known about that movie if it weren't for the Dragon Age community. Like, I think most of the watches on that movie are from people who like Dragon Age.
Oh my god.
So, yeah.
I've never heard of it. I would, like, up until I saw the screenshot, I'd never heard of it.
Literally, you only have to watch, like, the first minute. It's on Netflix. It's called Merry Christmas. And
I'll look it up. Although Netflix can be funny in that sometimes things will be on US Netflix that aren't on UK Netflix, and that kind of sucks. But I'll have a look and see if it's on there. And
if nothing else, I'm sure someone has uploaded that
minute
section on YouTube or
59
something.
seconds to watch.
Actually, worst comes
Possibly.
to worst, I'll just have you look at mine.
Like I said, quite the rabid fandom we are, so it's entirely possible that
To the
very
point
short part of the movie is probably on YouTube somewhere.
To the point where, like, we're so rabid that we watch a Christmas movie based on the fact there are Dragon Age characters.
Yes, there are 2 Dragon Age cosplayers in the first 2 minutes of the movie, and we watch a whole movie for that reason. Like, why?
I didn't watch the whole movie, but
Yeah, well,
I watched the first couple minutes.
I mean, I don't know what I'll do. I'll probably put it on when I've got something else to do, watch the first couple of minutes, and then leave the rest on as background noise. But yay for Fenris cosplayers out there. Woo.
One day I hope to be a Dragon Age cosplayer, but we'll see. I mean, I guess I don't really know what else to say. I feel like we've very much expressed our deep, deep love for this whole community, and
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this has pretty much been an ode to the community and to the game franchise itself, and, to the developers. And, I think after such a tough and shitty year, in which a lot of bad stuff has happened, we can start this new year off with... I think there would definitely be worse ways that we could start this year than by giving Smegphallus his, last adieu. Bye, fucker. And then, just bigging up the community we love so much. And just smothering them with the love they deserve. Because, frankly, they deserve it for having put up with all that shit all this year.
Mm-hmm. And, like, it just occurred to me, and I think I know I'm not alone in this. I know there are a lot of people that have relied on Dragon Age and the Dragon Age community for helping them get through 2020. And it's really been, like, sort of a place of refuge in the midst of all of this awfulness. And it's, I've referred to Dragon Age as, like, my coping game, my stress game, the game that I turn to when things are really, really rough. I think it's really like Dragon Age and The Sims for me that I turn to for that.
I'm the same.
But the problem is when I play Sims, I usually play Dragon Age characters, so
yeah.
It's still present in The Sims.
It's all Dragon Age at the end of the day.
So, and yeah, like, it just means so much to us, like, to the point where it's, like, not infected, I don't want to use that word, like, permeated our real life, and
it has. It's definitely permeated. That's the perfect thingy. It would either be that or osmosis. It's seeped its way into my very skin via osmosis.
Yep.
That is what this franchise has done, and you know what? I couldn't be happier for it. Because it's awesome. It's all amazing, and I love it all.
I don't know if I would have as good of a marriage as I do if it weren't for the fact that my husband does like Dragon Age and is more than happy to talk about it with me, and is completely okay with my Fenris obsession. Yeah,
that is so adorable.
So,
relationship goals.
It's given us a lot. It's given us more than just a video game to lose ourselves in for a little bit, which is important. We appreciate that, but
some people say that that computer games are just escapism, but it's more than that for us. It's been a lot more than that for us. It's really given us a lot more for ourselves and for each other, really. I mean, like we've said, you and I wouldn't be friends if it wasn't for this. And that, for me, from the past few years since I started playing Dragon Age, that's got to be one of the best things that this game franchise has ever given me. So there.
So this is where I mention, okay.
The last sappiness for me, I'm telling you, I'm not doing this again.
You've reminded me of something. So I had, like, sort of a similar experience with, like, a long time ago. Like, one of my other big obsessions is Phantom of the Opera. However, the Phantom of the Opera community is not as active as the Dragon Age community, which is why I don't talk. But there used to be, like, a period of time when I had the same thing happen. I was involved with a group of people who also like Phantom, and it sort of came into my life where I dated someone briefly in it. I had friends that were like, and now we're at a point where we've just all grown up and led different lives and stuff, and, we're all busy or whatever.
Can I just say I didn't even know there was a Phantom of the Opera community, or I'd have been right in there.
Oh, there is, but I think it's not as active.
I had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you know someone who's in it.
See, I'm a fucking cool as hell.
But, and I mentioned this then, and they, like, lovingly, they gave me hate for it, and I kind of have a feeling that's where you're gonna take it, but it's because I related it to this, but I also kind of feel the same way. Do you remember? Oh, they were also the people that got me into Doctor Who, by the way. So,
oh, yes. Good people.
Unfortunately, I haven't watched it since I saw the first season with 12 in it, and I just had trouble liking him. But
just to clarify for anybody listening out there right now, Doctor Who is my ultimate fandom. Nothing and no one will ever compare to the Doctor and the Master.
It's also harder to get in America when you don't have BBC America. So I have that. I can imagine. So I struggle. I know it's on streaming now. For a while it was on Netflix, and then they lost their licensing and they took it off. Yeah, and now, like, I've been floundering all over the place trying to find it again, and that's why I've fallen off of it, because I've been struggling to get to it. So.
Well, without being specific, we'll see what we can do about that.
Okay.
Okay. But I can't have my sister going without Doctor Who.
But you remember that the episode that no one likes to talk about of the new Who? the episode.
I know which one you're talking about, yes.
I love how you just did, like, I didn't even need to
Love
describe
and
what it was.
Monsters! I know which one you're talking about. The episode's called Love and Monsters.
Yeah, Love and
yes,
Monsters. I love how you
the one
exactly.
with the one with the absorbable off.
Okay.
Believe me, I'm a Doctor Who fan who has never found anything in any season ever that I can bitch about to any great extent, right? But I am also a Doctor Who fan who is a massive part of the fandom and who pays very close attention to what the rest of the plebs are saying. And so many of them have bitched and whinged about Love and Monsters that I understand it's the most hated episode of Who in the entire community.
I actually don't think it's that bad. I mean, it's
Yes!
a weaker episode.
Thank
yes,
you!
That's true. But the thing that I liked about it is that these people come together because of a common interest. And at first, it's just dedicated on that interest. But then it becomes a very found family story, and it becomes more than just trying to find the doctor.
Yeah, and I love that about that.
That is the part that I love about it. Yeah, the monster part is weird, admittedly.
Fuck yeah.
And I question what he meant when he was like, we have sort of a little bit of a love life, and she's a slab, and I'm like, I don't want to think about what that means.
Yeah, let's not go into that, shall we? But I mean, the design of the absorbable, let's be fair here, okay? The design of the absorbable was based on the drawing of a small child. So, I mean, this kid was, I think about 10 or 11. I can't remember exactly how old the kid was when they created this character. It was part of a competition to get your own character in Doctor Who, your own alien, right?
Yeah.
And this kid won the competition, right? The execution could have been better. I would be lying if I said otherwise, but let's be fair. It was a concept that was brought up by a child. It was thought up by a child, and for a child's concept, it's actually pretty fucking good.
And that's why I don't think that episode is that bad, and it sort of reminds me of stuff like this.
Yeah, I think my issue is they could have picked a better actor to play the Absorbable, because while I love Peter Kay, I just don't think that he was made for that specific kind of character. He's much more comedy relief. And so it just, his human counterpart seemed scary, whereas his alien counterpart just seemed goofy as. But, yeah, I draw comparisons between that episode and, our little found family from Jackdaw's Discord server. That's, we found each other and we've all sort of become quite close-knit, but...
It started just about Dragon Age, but then it moved into something more.
Exactly, and that's, that's where I draw the comparisons between us and Linda.
Like, we talk about our lives, we talk about things going on, like, it's, it's more than just... I mean, Dragon Age definitely plays a part in it. I mean, we have this frickin' podcast, for crying out loud, but, like, it's... I don't know. It's definitely something more than, like, the outside person would just see it as this people that are obsessed about something and have no life, and it's like, no, it's a lot more than that. Like, so.
Absolutely.
So we are definitely appreciative.
Yes, essentially, TLDR, we love you, Dragon Age fandom.
Yeah, TLDR, we love you. Maybe that'll be the title. TLDR, we love the Dragon Age community.
Yeah, that should be the title. That's what the title of this episode will be.
So, yeah. So if you, like, if you want to just yeet us fan art our way...
Oh, yes,
we'll
please.
Gobble it up, like, happily. We're always eager to engage with fan art. Like, we love it.
Will we link the email?
I'll put the email in, the email, the Twitter, however you want to give it to us.
Yep. Yeet it in our direction and we will wrap it up like
I will say,
the cats that got the cream.
If there is no, like, if you find the art on Pinterest or whatever, if there is no artist on it, please try to find the artist, because the artists need to be credited. I mean, worst comes to worst, we can try to search for it ourselves if something just happens to us. Like, if I am given art, I will, and there's no artist on it, I will go and look for it if it's possible. I know, unfortunately, sometimes things happen and it's hard to find the original source and you don't know who made it, but...
Rose of the research! I don't know why I keep doing those weird voices, I really don't.
I like it, you know? I think it really helps. Adds quite a bit of humor into our already goofy podcast.
Yeah, well, let's be honest here. I'm the goofiest part of this podcast.
That's true.
Yes, it is.
I am not very funny.
Oh, shush, you are so. It's just I'm definitely the comic relief of the
I just react to stuff around me, and my reactions are funny, so...
Yeah, that's true. Whereas I'm just weird. But it's okay, I embrace my role.
Ah,
that's what comes of being an elf. Anyway. So if you have any fan art that you wish us to see yeet in our direction, if it's yours, make sure and let us know that. If it belongs to somebody else, link the artist, so they can be credited. That goes for Dragon Age music as well. For if you have any Dragon Age related music that you want to yeet in our direction, I am definitely up for hearing that, because I am big on music.
Speaking of Dragon Age art, I put it in every description, but I would just like to say that my husband designed our podcast art.
Yes, and a big thank you to him for that, because I absolutely love it. I think it's gorgeous. For something that was actually put together relatively quickly, just so that we had art for the channel, it's actually really good. Like, I'm so jealous. I wish I could do stuff like that. It's true. If you have a favourite podcast or artist or YouTube channel or musician who does Dragon Age related content, stick them up in the comments section.
Yes, we want to support these creators.
We would
Introduce us.
Yes, we would love to give our support to other creators who base themselves in Dragon Age related content, because it's what we live for. It really is so much a part of our lives that we want to reach out to the community and tell them personally how much we love them. Oh, and again with the mushy. What is wrong with Thorn this week? I need to stop that. People will get ideas that I'm nice or something. Thank you all so much for joining us for this conversation. If you stayed to the end, you're a legend, and if you've enjoyed yourselves, make sure to smack that like button on the tube of you with a quick stone fist and subscribe. Ring the ding-a-ling so you get all of our uploads there, and if you don't, well then may the Dreadwolf take you.
We do hope you'll join us again, and if you're listening somewhere other than YouTube and want to make sure you can, please do subscribe or follow, rate us, and leave a review.
We love to hear what you guys have to say. It helps us to make this podcast better for you, and at the end of the day, that means a lot to us. If you want to contact us, you can follow us on our Twitter at LOTFDAPOD, or feel free to email us at leftofthefade@gmail.com.
We hope you have a fantastic week ahead, and with all the blessings of Andraste and the Maker.
And the light of Elgarnan and Nathal to guide your way, may Silays keep your Arville warm and full.
Remember that you're ridiculously awesome. We'll see you next time we journey to the left of the fade.
Goodbye!